Welcome, everybody. It's July 25th. This is a special city council meeting for West Liberty. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Present are council members Omar Martinez, Cara McFerren, yes, Dominguez,
Yep.
and Jose Zacarias. Okay. Approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve agenda? Motion.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved. So we will just move on to city council discussion and appropriate action to appoint city council member. So we're here to discuss the 3 candidate applications for consideration of appointment of the vacant position. This person will serve until January 1, 2024. And this will be to who we then move to make the resolution to appoint at the next meeting that we can. So we can open up the discussion with any thoughts or anything that anybody feels like sharing now that we have the Cara here as well. So thank you.
Well, I guess I could start. I think all 3 candidates are capable. But I like the fact that 2 of them definitely have shown in their, I don't know what you call it, resume, CV, whatever. They have some leadership experience. So it's difficult to decide because I think they're pretty qualified. Do we know if there's going to be any petition filed for special election?
Dave, do you have any answers to that? I heard that there was one, but
There was an individual that inquired about the process and he was given the paperwork, but we haven't seen it.
and when is the deadline for that? Or has it
Well,
passed?
actually, it would be, if you make the appointment, they would have up to 14 days after the appointment to file that.
File the petition?
Yes.
All right. So they're kind of waiting in line then for the process.
So, I mean, I think the fact that you've chosen the process to appoint, I think you have to go through with the appointment and
Right.
then if, the petition comes, we'll have to deal with that at that point. So,
Depends whether they like who we choose or not. We want to file that.
Did anybody have any specific preferences?
Well, I know, last time Ashley was here, and I don't know if she's on Zoom, but, we didn't get to speak, but I see Mike is here. I don't know if other.
I can't hear. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'll try to speak up. I said in the last meeting that Ashley had shown up, but we weren't able to discuss, and then now I see that you're here, so I didn't know if the council wanted to hear from Mike. I wasn't sure if Ashley was on Zoom or not, but because in my preference, and I made it clear last time that, Mike, you had also applied, which awesome that when anybody applies, but the other 2 candidates just had a very extensive application. So I felt like I couldn't gather as much of background and things like that. But since you're here.
Do you have any questions?
Well, I would suggest that since you're here, you might try to enlighten us as to why are you trying to run and be open about it.
Well, I'm trying to run for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I've been watching the city council meetings. And I'm not trying to be pejorative or hateful, but I haven't seen a single city council meeting that's been in order for any length of time since the new people took over. I may not have put as much experience down as you wanted. I don't know what kind of experience you're looking for, but I do have experience as an elected representative. I put that down. I do know how meetings are run, and I think you desperately need that. The other thing that I put down that I think is desperately needed is that I have no personal interest, no financial interest, no familial interest, and I think that's utterly necessary, particularly to this council. I really don't know what else to say other than I've been in this community for 30 years. I've been a pretty constant volunteer for several organizations. So exactly what the other people, what they put in their applications, I don't know, don't care really, it doesn't matter to me. But if you want somebody that's honest, that doesn't owe anybody anything, doesn't have an axe to grind, that doesn't have an agenda going in, I'm your person. I'm not particularly fond of the lateness of the meetings. I think this, what time do they start? 7:30? That's way too late for a working meeting.
And a working woman.
But, you know, that's neither here nor there, I guess, but I think that essentially does, people get up and go to work by 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So you're asking them after having worked 8 or 10 or 12 hours to come to a meeting at 7:30, that eliminates a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's ever been a concern for the council. I think it should be. So, other than that, like I said, I think that this particular council needs to gain control of the meeting process, and there hasn't been any movement towards that I've seen. All I've seen every meeting is completely out of order most of the time. Mob rules, what I've seen.
I
I'm on the
disagree,
council.
Mike. You say,
Excuse me.
no, you say you don't have an axe to grind, and then
No.
you're gonna come in and talk about how the meetings aren't run well.
I'm just
That's an
saying,
axe to grind, my friend.
no, I'm just saying what I've seen. And if I were on the council, I'd have been a point of order immediately like that. And they would have never got that far. It's not an axe to grind.
It is.
It's a simple truth.
It's not. It's an axe to grind.
It's
You can
simple
come
truth.
here and criticize how I run the meetings like everybody wants to.
It's nothing personal.
Hmm.
I didn't use your name. Nothing personal. I said what I've seen. Sorry,
Well, what you see is not accurate.
it's not.
No,
The video's not accurate.
no.
Oh, okay. Well, then you ought to look into that. If the video's not accurate, why do you even take it?
I'm not sure why you're asking me that
You said the
question.
video's not accurate. What I've seen on the video.
No, what you perceive to have seen on the video.
Oh,
And I'm sorry, but I'm not, if you can't come up with anything better about yourself than how shitty everybody else is running this, then sorry.
sorry,
No, I'm done.
I've done too, but I think, once again, were you asking me or were you asking the mayor? Because I'm gonna leave in a minute, so she can have her say, but I have the floor. Once again, you have no idea how these.
And she gave you the floor. I didn't give you the floor. And now I'm taking it away.
Actually, Jose gave you the floor.
I
We're
invite
gonna
him,
start.
I invite him to talk.
Jose, do I still have the floor?
Excuse me.
Do I still have the floor?
I
Well,
believe-
it's-
May I talk
the
on
mayor
it?
gave you the floor.
So,
I've proved my point.
You
I've
have.
proved my point.
so.
And you proved your point.
So I'm gonna say so the meeting did not have any public comments to be had. Jose invited, Mr. Price to communicate. I'm just bringing to the attention that you did not have room for public comments. And I would just recommend that you go ahead and you proceed with your meeting. And thank you, Mr. Price, for your input, but
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mike.
Have a nice evening.
Mayor, this is your meeting. Call it back, so when you're ready.
So we've heard from the candidate that we have not discussed. If anybody has any other thoughts on any of the candidates, now is the time to speak.
Now that we have the presence of Cara and we are the 4 members of this city council, I would like to again to emphasize the quality of the curriculum needed of Vanessa Espinosa. She's been all around this town. You can read, I'm sure you already did. Dual language Spanish teacher, dream catcher's mentor. We can go on and on, but I'm sure you already read that. I would like to add to that the fact that she's a member right now of the board of the library. And so she has a bit of experience when it comes to running meetings and being part of that government body. That was an argument that Councilwoman Dana mentioned in the previous time. I think she's highly qualified. And that's the end of my intervention.
Yeah, I think they're both, Ashley and Vanessa are highly qualified, or just as appropriate, I think. I guess I have to say in honesty that my feeling in regards to what was brought to my attention recently with a public posting, it was on social media from Ms. Espinosa, was concerning in regards to kind of the flippant emotional comment that was made. So that does give me some concern, but I had an opportunity to speak with Ms. Espinosa as well as Mr. Zacarias on that particular incident. And I think it was just a matter of heightened emotional fervor that kind of created that. And I think we can't totally hold her responsible, because I feel that in many cases, a lot of us do much of the same when we lose it, and sometimes create a little bit of a scene, or, you know, say something on social media that, you know, later on we may regret. So hearing and knowing that, I am totally, you know, on board with the consensus between Vanessa or Ashley. Ashley, at least, I don't know her super well, but I do know of her in the community, and she seems to be a very hard worker, very fair. I appreciate her efforts. She hasn't shown a lot of, I guess, heightened emotional behavior in a situation, but with the same, in the same sentence, she's very busy. So I am concerned about her ability to serve, because I know she's an extremely busy individual.
I think they both are.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And that's it's got 3 jobs.
Mhm.
So I think it's, you know.
To go behind your statement, I believe that I hear this week, and Ashley Smith works 23 hours a day. Just say how busy she is, and the concern that you just expressed.
When does she sleep?
Yeah.
I don't think that that's necessarily anything. I mean, I do appreciate that, and I don't necessarily think that that's something we should focus on. I think if she thinks she can do it and put her hat in the ring, then she thinks she can do it, and that's not up for us to decide.
Yep.
I have personal experience with Ashley when I was member of the school board, and she produced the best presentation ever. And she was there. She's highly qualified, she's professional,
Yeah,
no doubt.
yeah.
I think that's what stood out about Ashley's application to me is her writing sample. Like I learned it was a very well-written piece. I'm not saying she did that all by herself, but maybe she did, but I learned more about annexation and I just really liked how thorough she was in it and that she went the extra effort to find that from 2016, include it, and then plus also included all her references that were well-known people in the community as well as folks who used to be on council and things like that. It just, if I was a blank slate and I'm looking at two applications, yes, Ms. Espinosa has done a lot for other communities and for our community, but I feel like Ashley didn't just submit her resume, she also submitted the writing sample. She also reached out to say, can I use you for a reference, and put down references. She also showed up to the last meeting, and I'm not saying that Vanessa wouldn't if she could, because I heard she's on vacation, so I don't think that should be a factor, but and the whole, the whole letter that we got the other day is really concerning to me. There's a lot of accusatory things that was absolutely ridiculous.
Go ahead.
I'd be happy to read the letter if the mayor thought it was appropriate, but I also did a response and I don't want to read that response for respect to Ms. Espinosa. I want to respect her privacy. And, but it does concern me. And it's not just a one-time emotional thing. There has been a lot of things that has been said about council member Zacarias for months, not just one time on a post. And so can we trust?
Mayor,
Yes,
okay,
of course.
you're talking about the set we call voices.
No, I'm talking about private messages that Vanessa has sent to myself and the mayor.
Now, talking about that specific situation, I would like to pass on to you what Paul Craig sent to Vanessa
Yes,
recently.
yep, and this was in the letter. And
If that is not hampering the potential nominee, I don't know what it is.
Well,
Hampering to the end degree.
you don't know all the information though, Jose, and I really
I
wish you
have.
did. No, you don't. You don't see the other messages where she has degraded you,
I have no idea.
demeaned you,
I have no idea.
accused you.
This is a pure source information.
right?
If I need to talk to her, I will go directly to her.
Right, and that's what Paul was doing, is going directly to her, instead of everybody else going behind her back and wondering why you endorsed her when she has done this to you. Instead of everybody talking behind your back, Paul went directly to her.
She apologized after the incident that she claimed it happened. She endorsed me for the job at the University of Iowa translating.
Mhm.
The day you saw me having breakfast with her, she asked me if she could join me at the table.
You don't have to
No,
explain.
I don't.
Yeah,
I know I don't,
yeah,
because I know in my integrity, the situation that it happened. But if you are to pay attention to the dumpster that is voices of West Liberty, I'm sorry, your sources are very, very, very bad.
well, I'm also telling you there are other sources that you're not aware of, and then that concerns me. And I'm not trying to protect, I'm not trying to victim blame, I'm trying to keep the drama out of council.
That's innuendo, and I am not gonna put up with that.
I've said what I've said.
So I understand your bias against Vanessa.
I don't, I have
And-
facts,
And
it's
and
not
I can
biased.
tell you,
I was
and
friends with Vanessa, I voted for Vanessa.
I can tell you, the first element to qualify Vanessa is the fact that she put her name in the ballot and not.
Right, that Paul went around and got signatures for.
Then again,
Yep,
that's to me is a qualifying event, as I said before. This letter is was not written without your consent.
What?
This,
I did not have anything to do with it.
but then, if somebody living with you is responsible for this.
No. Paul is his own person. Paul can do what he wants. I don't control him.
Again, if I have to choose between Vanessa and Ashley, I know Ashley since she came to town. I have drinks with her, have beers with them, I know her trajectory at the school. I applaud what she's doing with the kids. But the fact that Vanessa has a lot more experience dealing with the community other than music is a qualifier.
Well, they're both good candidates. You know, I don't know Ashley very well, and I don't know the rest of her. I just know she was from Columbus, and I think we graduated about a year apart. So we say that we have, and like together, we bump together, we have usually we walk on the trail. Hey, how you doing? How's your day? Good. Walk my dog. I'll walk my dog. You know, communication here and there. You know, and during the run for the election, we had some conversations, like, you know, what are your plans? What are your ideas? You know, made the best one, whoever wants to continue. When that came to vote, I actually voted for her. I didn't vote for myself.
You know, so-
I felt like she had more. Like that more potential gain against me without her education. She could do the best one for the life. So I was like, why not? So like, even to now, like obviously seeing all the actions that have happened since we've been elected to the point of now. Like there's some things I see that people react on emotion. We shouldn't be reacting on emotion. You know, obviously what happened between you and her, if you react on emotion, how do we know that it's not gonna happen when we're on council? There's a lot of emotion, here.
Yeah.
You know that. And
Yes.
obviously, I'm not gonna say.
We have that experience, yes, and she has tried several times.
Oh, I know, I've been too, you know, and she doesn't let her emotions affect her decisions, she's gonna crack till on a vote a certain way, like, obviously not, we don't need that. We need something that's gonna push us forward as a group. I'm not saying, you know, Vanessa's highly qualified for it, actually, it's hard to choose, but we gotta see how we can. You gotta do like the bigger picture, and obviously it's tough because we both have super late for them. And like, even to me, for right now, it's hard for me to find. But like I said, I need somebody that's not gonna react out of emotion. I've seen that out of Vanessa. I mean, as good as your credentials are, but sometimes it's something that doesn't work for me.
Yeah, that was my concern as well, and I just want, you know, to be fair, because I know that is, if it's just a one-time deal, that it happens. But, you know, I guess I'm understanding this is not a one-time deal. I don't know. I don't really know her. Yeah, we just need to focus on the work at hand and move
If
forward.
we can put the motion to the side, I would like to focus on the qualifications of the candidate.
Even then, though, I believe that Ashley has more qualifications. She sat between how many council meetings and then wrote articles about them.
What really impressed me about Ashley with that article is her ability to sort of, she's shown in this ability to take governmental concepts and kind of break it down for folks that could be easily read in the newspaper. And as part of my goal and something like, you know, that came out with the newsletter that was there, that came out on the City of West Liberty Facebook today, that was brilliant. And I think having another person who can, you know, help the community, who has shown that she has the ability to communicate to the community about city matters like that, I think could be a very strong addition to the council, so that it's somebody who can help sort of translate, you know, what's going on and in meaningful ways. So that was something that I was impressed with Ashley's application. Now, that doesn't mean that Vanessa couldn't either, because she didn't, you know, we didn't say what we wanted people to submit, and Ashley chose to submit that writing sample. But I am impressed by that. I'm also impressed by the fact that she has been in the same position for 13 or more years at the school, so there's,
She hasn't been in the city
um,
15 years,
or whatever the,
4 years maybe.
yeah,
Mm.
but, you know, that she's shown the dedication. But you know, as we brought up last time does not mean anything. It's just, I'm not contrasting her to Vanessa. I'm just saying, you know, strengths for Ashley as well. So, that's my thought on the application and the materials that were submitted.
I think whenever I'm showing, around the interruption, we need to make sure that we are moving forward, because in my opinion, in 7 months, we haven't accomplished anything at this city court.
Well, what,
Show me our accomplishment. We have been in the same position regarding the fire department for the last, since January. I don't go full behind the statement of Mr. Mike Price, but I truly believe when a student of FA can show us how to run it.
A student of FA, I'm sorry.
The FA has leadership classes,
Mhm,
and they are brilliant,
mhm.
and we haven't exactly given them an example to follow. It will matter.
Well, does anybody have any nominations?
I moved to nominate Ashley Smith.
You're not gonna vote, you're just gonna make a consensus.
What's my vote is. Sorry, I didn't.
No, I'm looking at Dave and I do apologize because this is the first time I went through, the council vacancies, so I'm just looking to Dave to see, does it need to be by vote?
They'll actually. Well, you've got to listen as a motion for like a consent and vote, which should take place on the 2nd. So I think really what you're giving staff direction as to who your choice is, so the resolution can be prepared to make that appointment official at the meeting on the 2nd.
But we need that to be unanimous.
It does not have to be unanimous. It'll be a majority. My belief is it's a majority of who the council chooses that thinks is going to be the best fit
So,
for your group.
I just think for a record purpose, it would be, so if Dana wants to make the motion.
Yeah, I don't have
And
a
then we
problem
have a
with it.
second, we take a vote on it, because then I think it makes a clear record of the motion is who you're recommending as your appointment. And then we can take it's up to you, Madam Mayor, do you want a roll call vote, so you have each person recording yes or no, or do you want to consent yay or nay?
That's a good question. So based on Councilwoman Dominguez saying, I propose Ashley, let's do a roll call vote for a yay or nay on the proposing Ashley.
You'll need a second on her,
Right,
Yep.
but that will give staff direction on how to prepare the resolution and for final consideration at your meeting on the 2nd.
So I have, Councilmember Dominguez, motion. Ashley Smith is the recommendation to be appointed. Do we have this again?
Also, do that.
And second by Councilmember Martinez.
Is there any further discussion that anybody wants to add or say before we do a roll call? Okay. Councilman Zacarias?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Omar?
Yes.
So, it looks like the direction will be to move forward with Ashley Smith as the candidate for the resolution. And then we can vote, or you folks can vote on Tuesday, August 2nd.
That's great.
And then what does that, just for edification for folks listening or anything, what does that mean? Does that mean if the person is voted in, when do they take, there's 14 days? Is that what it is, like, or do they take office immediately
No,
or?
I think my understanding, I believe they take office immediately. And if it would come to a petition, she would continue to serve until such point as that special election could be held. Because that would be out of the ways and,
That's how I understand
you know,
it.
and then she could, you know. If there was a petition for a special election, then she could put her name in as well as anybody else that wanted to be on that election.
But if there's, that she would continue to serve,
Until-
because until the special election took place.
In November 23, or a special, like, if somebody petitioned, I got you. Yeah. Perfect.
So we'll be voting to the petitions.
Well,
If
you'll-
somebody petitions
you,
for a
yeah,
special
you will,
election, then they will
you know,
serve.
your choice will be made official that evening, and I believe if she's there, she can. I think she can come on right away to that meeting, but we'll verify that.
Yeah, we have to
I
verify
think-
because you have to have the oath of office.
Yeah, I mean, but I think once they make that, I think you could do the oath of office and bring her in for the rest of the meeting, depending on where that falls in the agenda. Is how I believe it. It worked out in other places I've been, so I'm thinking that's the same, but we'll verify that.
Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion for you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.